Sunshine and a light breeze and leeward Babbie. How much more could anybody want on a Saturday afternoon?
It's a great day.
It's a great day to be alive when your feet hit the floor, isn't it, Lee?
I feel good today.
I feel good today, too. We're in Peru on the River Road at the Babbie Rural and Farm Learning Museum. And as I was saying to Calvin on the way over here, we got this information on television when you first started thinking about it. And we have followed you all the way through. And here we are, just about a year after you opened up.
That's right. We opened last June, and we had a pretty good year for the first year, and I appreciate all the people that came and supported us, and it was good.
You know, I have to commend you, Leeward, because a lot of people have a dream. Then they wake up. You had a dream, and you pursued that dream until you actually came up with this wonderful learning museum.
Yeah, I just had quite a collection, and I wanted to be able to have people take a look at it. Most collections, the person collects all his life, then they die, then the stuff goes every which way. But I just wanted to keep my collection together, and I figured this was the only way I could do it.
Now, this was a working farm before you opened this place, right?
Well, this was part of the farm. When I sold the farm, I put up this shop, and I did custom field work. I'd repair my equipment. I would store my equipment. Now I threw all my equipment out, and it's full of antiques.
Isn't that amazing? But it turned out to be a good thing. You wonder, and I hate to say bad things, but some museums can't make it.
Well,
especially in this day and age, it's hard to get money. It's hard to get people to get out and about.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You need a certain amount of support. Financial support to keep something going like this going, and it's a little rough, but we're making it.
Well, we're here, aren't we?
Yeah, right.
That weatherman or weatherwoman, I don't know whether it's a he or a she, has done some pretty nasty stuff to us so far in April. We're on the last day of April 2011, and thank God the sun is out.
Yeah, well, that rain that we had, I didn't get a chance to put out my rain gauge, but there had to be more than an inch of rain.
Several inches of rain fell over several days.
Yeah.
People watched the little rivers and streams, didn't they, huh?
Some people, I feel lucky here. I'm high enough where the little Au Sable River doesn't wash me out.
You better hope not.
But no, there's some people that are really having it rough right now. Along the rivers and even the lake. The lake is awfully high at this point.
Higher than it's ever been.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
that's what they're telling.
Higher than it's ever been by a couple of feet.
Yeah.
They're looking at it every day at various places, and we've seen a lot of farmers' fields that look like they had man-made lakes in them.
Yeah, I'm sure, the flat ground along the lake has to be pretty wet. We're a little wet here, but as I say, we're on slopes, and it's drying up pretty good, where we might be able to demonstrate a little bit of equipment today.
Well, that's the whole idea. This time of year, you try to do a little plowing, you try to do a little planting, and sometimes the tractor has got mud right up to the axle.
Yeah.
Well, I saw you did a few rows on the hill over there today.
Yeah, we did. I had my little Super C with 2-bottom plow. I was able to come down the hill all right, but I had a little trouble going up.
Oh boy!
But my son had plows behind his dozer, and that kind of did the wet spots.
You almost need a dozer this time of year.
Yeah.
We were wondering coming down here if you would be able to get one furrow done today.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure when I talked to Calvin yesterday, and I was just heading out to that field to see if there was anything we might be able to do. And well, what I did yesterday, I kind of went over it with the disc, fluff it up, dry it up a little, and it's pretty good today.
That's
yeah.
amazing. Well, there is, with a field like that, you're going to get pretty good drainage. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness for that. And all the, this whole site has a slope, and the water, it's bad when it's raining, but the following day it dries up pretty quick.
So is this the official opening today?
No, it was last weekend.
Last weekend.
It was kind of quiet. When we set the date, we didn't realize Easter could be so late.
It's amazing.
It was
isn't it?
Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had started to advertise and that, so we didn't change it. We just like to kind of make a dry run before, like last year, we had Museum Day the weekend before the grand opening. If we're doing something wrong, we have time to correct it.
Well, Calvin, once again, Calvin and I think you're a pretty special guy, and we think you've got a very special place here, and we both hope and wish fervently that you'll be able to continue to grow and keep it open for a long time. Not just a year, not just 2 years, but for a long time.
Yeah, that's also my goal, but I'm hoping, and things will probably work out for us.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah,
we got some nice sunshine today, and we're going to take a look around and see what you got to offer, okay?
Very good.
All right, Leeward.
Thank you.
We're at Babbie's, and we walked out back, and here's Mr. Young David Babbie. How are you, sir?
Very good, very good.
I heard you tuned up a little equipment last weekend.
Yeah, we've been working at it for a couple of weeks, getting ready for the plow day, so they all run and don't stall out.
I there probably are 2 or 3 people watching now who haven't seen any of the other programs we've done about this wonderful place out in Peru. So we have to explain why the place is here in the first place and how it came that your family owned all these tractors.
Well, some of them actually came off the farm that my father bought way back when, but we've been collecting them along different pieces, and really to use them out in the field and to show people how they worked at one time is really I think a neat way of doing it, and that's one of the reasons why we started the museum, so we could show people how they were actually used and what their purpose was.
It makes you happy to see something running that hasn't been running in a few years.
Yes.
Don't you have that thrill when you touch it off and it really fires?
Yeah, if you know it's been sitting in a shed for 10 or 20 years and just doing nothing, then you can bring it out and bring it back to life. Because to me, if something's running, it's alive and and happy.
Your father was talking about you going out with a dozer this morning on the side hill.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you'd have to pull him out of there with his little tractor.
Well, he was doing some spinning. Still a little wet out there.
He said there was no trouble going downhill. Just don't turn around and try to go the other way.
Yeah, it's a one-way tractor
Well,
down the hill.
Over your shoulder here is the dozer that you were actually using. And when you said you like to restore old things, you weren't kidding, because I'm an old thing, and that one dates to the year I was born, 1937 International.
Yes. Last summer I bought that in an auction as a non-runner, and luckily, I knew it was all original, but with some tinkering I got it to go, and it really runs nice.
Really? You didn't have to buy a lot of new parts?
I had to put exhaust manifold onto
Oh,
it.
big deal.
But that was it.
Come on.
Yeah.
It wasn't too high. How long since it ran?
I was thinking around 10 years, the way the gas was in the tank. It was pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those too.
Oh, yeah.
So it runs good now?
It does.
You love it, don't you?
I do. I love dozers, and that's one of my favorites. I have a few others, but That's one of my favorites.
You don't hand crank it every time, do you?
I have to, because there was no such thing as a battery back then.
I know that. I thought maybe you did a little improvising along the way. You didn't, so you give it a shot, huh?
Yeah. If they're tuned right with a magneto, they actually start pretty good.
No kickback?
Not yet. My arm is still usable.
I've hurt my arms lots of times cranking on vehicles.
Yeah.
So now this is a time of year when you like to get out in the fields, get a little plowing done like we tried down here on the side. When did you do that?
I did that this morning.
Did you really?
Yeah, Justin, my plow's out.
But Mother Nature has done some nasty things. I mean, I don't work on a farm anymore, but I don't think I've ever seen an April quite like this one.
No, it's just been continuously wet. Usually all the seedings are in, and most of the corn is, or good start of corn, and I don't know if anybody's got any seed in the ground yet.
That's amazing.
It is.
Amazing but true. And as I was saying to my son Dale this morning as we sat and had a cup of coffee, I don't know how the small farm can stay in business these days. I mean, we talk about our mega farms and everything else, but you know, this North Country and the rest of the country, as a matter of fact, was once made up of these local rural farms, family farms, and every year they diminish in numbers.
Yep.
And so that's another reason why I think this is just such a wonderful place out here, Dave.
Yeah, it's a family affair, and that's what it was a lot of family farms down through here, and they would farm it as a family with smaller equipment like what you're seeing here. But yeah, those days are gone. It's amazing how much has changed in the last 50 to 80 years as far as farming goes.
Well, to preserve it and to teach the kids and some of their parents who've never been on a small farm like this certainly have never seen such a wonderful array of old equipment operating
and running.
Yeah, so we're doing this on the last day of April 2011 at Babbie's on the River Road. It's been a year. Did the year turn out any different than you thought it might?
Yes, usually it doesn't stay wet for this so long. You know, last year I seeded down April 15th and had corn in the ground by the 25th. And
did you really?
Yeah, this year
You say goodbye to that idea.
Not even close this year.
So what's going to happen now? We hope to get a little dry weather for a while. Will you be able to get it done or what?
Yeah, we're hoping. We've got some pretty dry ground where we're putting our seeding in, but we're hoping to maybe work it up later today and try to get it in Sunday night before the rain. They're talking rain Monday, so it might take some headlights.
I don't want to hear any more rain with that river running so swift behind my house.
Yeah.
No more rain. So what are you going to do today for people who drop by?
Well, we were hoping to have some all fitted up so we could actually show them some tillage work and then some seeding down, but we got a chance to plow it up this morning, but we're hoping to get the disc out on the field up above so we can show them how it's worked up, maybe even the drags, but we won't be able to seed down until tomorrow. We'll have to let it dry up a little bit. And we're also going to get my plows out in the crawler, and my father's going to get his Super C out up there and do a little spinning.
I think that's wonderful. I can't wait to see that. We don't want to get too close because we don't want to hear bad words if things don't go exactly right, Dave, you know? But it's great to do this. Now, when I say the first year was kind of an unknown, when you start a project like this, you don't know. A lot of projects like this, as like a lot of other businesses, don't survive more than 1 or 2 years, and before the people have to fold it up because it wasn't as successful as they hoped or imagined it would be.
Yeah.
But this place is still here.
It's still here, and we've learned a lot last year, and we've tried a lot of different things this year, and it seems to be working. So yeah, we'd like it to continue on. It's a lot of work, and it requires a certain amount of money to be generated, and that's probably the biggest challenge right now. But we're hoping with better advertisement we can get more people in here and continue on.
Calvin's camera does a magnificent job.
It does.
I know I've had people call me on the phone or send me emails and tell me they've watched the old shows that we've done.
Yeah.
Last year for the grand opening, that was pretty neat, wasn't it?
It was. It was a really good deal.
So we hope people talk well when they say they're going to support it. But then when the going gets tough, we gotta get those tough people going. And thank God for your family and a lot of other volunteers and friends, right?
Oh yeah, so there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and there's a lot of people that actually help out, to make it all go.
How many acres are there around here? What a beautiful spot and what a great day to look at it, huh?
Yeah, it is. We call it 15 acres at one time, when we farmed it.
Yeah.
And then there's probably 3 acres down there where you can see. And I think the lot where we're up right now is almost an acre.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's plenty big enough for anything you'd want to do in terms of having this learning museum here.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can get more, did you have some school kids here last year?
We did. Prue came, and Shay-Z came, and there was another school that came. But yeah, the kids really love it here.
Of course they do.
We
Fire trucks and tractors, you can't do any better than that.
That's right. They do love it, and we educate them. It doesn't come from a grocery store. It does come from a farm, and it's good to know how it was at one time, where it came from.
We went to a community fair down at Northern Adirondack, NAC, yesterday, and Calvin and I were laughing because they had the milk demonstrations. They had 1%, 2%, whole milk in little cups, and you had to sip it and which one tasted better. And one of the little girls was standing there, and we say, which one tasted better to you? And she said, I don't drink milk, I hate milk. I said, oh boy, Pam Bulworth is going to love you. But boy, we grew up on raw milk, as we used to call it, didn't we?
Yeah,
I bet you did too, Dave.
Yes, dipped it out of the tank on the way in for breakfast,
oh, yeah.
and that was our...
A squirt or two for the cat, and away we go,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I love it. Well, let's see what else we got going on here. What do you say?
Sounds good.
David, what kind of equipment do you have here today?
We put some seeding equipment together just so that people could see more or less how it was done in the earlier days and how it progressed into, well, that's a 1960 grain drill, but it's modern enough that the newer grain drills are like it. First down here we have...
Hold on. Now we're getting back to the nitty gritty. I even have one of those.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
For the lawn. Well,
Yep.
that's what they would actually use. You put it in a bag, and you'd probably only have to seed down an acre or half an acre, on a small family farm.
A little bit of cranking, that's all.
A little bit of cranking, and this would spread the seed out, and then you would roll it down. Then from there, this is some corn planters. You'd actually plant them individually by putting them in the ground like that and then pushing it, and it would click a seed down into there. Then for a little more speed, they got into this wheelbarrow type thing. You put your grass seed into here, and you can see the ropes in there, and the ropes would actually go back and forth.
Oh, is that how it worked?
Yeah.
Ah.
You just grab this and you'd wheel it through your field. Take 10 or 12 feet at a time.
Manpower.
Manpower. Yeah.
You got it.
And here, this is a horse-drawn drill. This is...
Looks like somebody oiled it up really good.
I cleaned it up and
Did you
oiled it up
really?
and got it all set to go. But these shields are designed, they used to seed down in between the rows of corn.
Yeah.
And put some hay in there. And that's what these are for. But this unit right here can either seed down in an open field like this, or it could be used for seeding down between the rows of corn once the corn got up.
Now, was this not operating when you got a hold of it?
This is pretty much the way it was. I bought this at an auction the way it was. And I have an older Van Brunt, which John Deere ended up buying. I have an older grain drill similar to this with the wooden wheels. And when I saw this at the auction, I wanted a smaller sister to it. But this was just the way it...
So you didn't have to put any new parts on it at all?
No.
Just
No.
oil it up and get her going again.
Yep, exactly.
Sometimes they creak a little bit the first time around, huh?
Yep.
All right.
This is a Mccormick Deering Cedar.
Yeah.
This was kind of after. This is a hoe type. It would just drag it through the ground, drop your seeds down through here, and it would just work it into the ground. Then you'd roll it after, and that's pretty much how it seeded itself down. This is horse drawn too. The guy would actually just walk behind it, and actually, and this is your up and down lever.
Oh, I
And
see.
you would-
Yeah.
You would actually pick it up like that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Then
So-
this one here, like I said, this is pretty conventional. This has your small grass seed here. This would be for your alfalfa, Timothy type thing. Then in here, this is for your oats and small grains. And then this hopper back here is for your fertilizer. And then that's how the newer ones are set up today.
So this dates to the 60s, you said?
Yeah, this was probably around the 1960s because they got away from the wood, like those wooden hoppers there. They went to the steel and the single disc coulters on it.
Does somebody have to ride on the back?
No, that was for loading the fertilizer. This was
I
pretty
see.
much, it would take care of itself.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Explain, Dave, why you would plant your oats and your alfalfa at the same time, and what would happen.
Well, actually, the oats would be considered like a cover crop if you have sloping knolls like this. You'd actually go in there and oats would come up quick. And then once you harvest the oats, then you had your grass seed that was already planted and growing then.
Very clever.
So it was like a one-shot deal, and then you'd be done with it.
I bet you've done it too, haven't you?
I have a few acres. This is a 012. This is a small orchard tractor that they used to use back when they had small orchards. And this is a roller that they would tow behind. And after you made a pass there, you would actually go behind with this roller and pack the ground down and pack the soil around the seed.
And hope that it's going to dry out so you can get some of this stuff done before too long,
and
huh?
hope for rain after. Not at this point, but
Yeah.
after you do it.
Yeah, we do have to have some water, but not all at the same time. All right, what do we got down here?
Usually normal tillage. You start with your plow, and then once you got plowed up and dried to a certain moisture so you don't hurt your soil, then you go in with your disc, and that would chew it up and level it up. And then your final would be your drags. Your drags just kind of lightly dress it off and smooth it out. And then you're ready for seeding down. It's kind of how that works.
Ta-da! That's wonderful. So what? Oh, you got another plow over here.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to be plowing with the Super C. That's my father's tractor that he brought from Champlain back in late 50s. He bought it in, I think, the middle 50s. And when he moved from Champlain to Peru, he brought that tractor to that farm down there, and that was his main work tractor.
No kidding, for a long time.
For a long time, he plowed, and those discs right there are the original discs to that tractor.
Oh, come on. Are they really?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
He had a loader, and he had cultivators, and he had a sickle bar mower. That one tractor did it all for him.
What do you do when you have to buy parts to repair some of this old stuff?
Well, sometimes junkyards. There's a lot of companies out there that specialize.
Oh, there are?
Yeah. Engine parts and stuff like that. But really, like that one, we had to do an engine job on it and some clutch
Oh,
work.
no kidding.
But other than that, it was just cleaning it up and painting it. A little service work.
You make it sound so easy, and I know, I know what you've been doing behind the scenes trying to get this stuff going and to keep it going. It's a challenge, but for you, it's something you'd rather do than almost anything else in the world, right, Dave?
Yes, I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I
All
really
right, let's look around some more. Well, it's too bad the camera wasn't running, David, because we had lots of laughs when the camera was off. Mainly watching you trying to get your coveralls on. They
Yeah.
fit real good. Are those really yours, or did you borrow them from a fat guy?
Well, he's definitely bigger than I am.
Well, it looks real. You gotta get the straw hat going and the whole 9 yards. That's great. And I think something happened to your rubber tires here.
Yeah, I don't think they had rubber back then when they made this one, but
I think you're really right. Before we even get into describing what this is, I want to tell people what hours you're open during the museum year, during the whole year? Are you open during every day or on the weekends, or how does that work?
We're open Monday or Wednesday through Fridays, 10 to 4 o'clock.
Now, do you have, I didn't get into it today, but are there a lot of people that volunteer, or how do you keep the place manned? Or you just come here every day with your father?
No, I wish I had more time to come here more often, but I usually come for the bigger events and try to help them out do that. And
we're honored. We're honored to have you here today. Yeah.
But this is their Plow and Planting Day, and then we have this summer, I don't know the dates exactly, but we're going to have a hay harvest day, and then we have our bigger fall harvest day also.
So there are a few major events during the course of the year.
Yes, there is.
And this is really one of them, trying to get ready for spring.
Yep, this is where it starts as far as cropping wise. You put it in the ground and get it growing.
But when somebody comes in here with their family, with their grandfather and their little grandchildren and kids and stuff during the week, what can they do?
Well, we have a lot of games for the kids. We have working things. We shell corn, grind corn.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we got a shingle mill that's going. We do the hay loader in that barn there.
I saw him pulling the hay up, but boy, did that bring back a few memories, huh? With the old horse pulling it up, and then tripping it in the mow, and then having to mow it away.
Then to mow it away. That was the funnest job of all.
Wasn't it? And you're not very old, but you're old enough to remember that.
Yeah. But I never had a chance to do that. I always had to bale hay.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, bales didn't come around until I had been in the business for a little while, so we know the old ways.
Yep.
We know about the horse-drawn dump rakes and all of that good stuff.
The pitchfork and all that.
Oh, you got it, baby. So, when people come in here during the week, they can tour the museum.
Yeah.
There is a small charge.
There's a small charge, $5 a person, to help pay for the expenses. But we started in the building over there. We've got a lot of stuff to look at. We have kitchens, and then you go into the other part where it has some older equipment, and then we get into our demonstrations out here.
There are too few museum learning places, working rural farms in the country anymore. Mm-hmm. So we're thrilled and delighted that you're operating here. I don't think there's another for quite a ways, is there?
No, a miner's got some stuff going on up there as far as some farming and stuff. But no, there's just not a lot of it. And
were you on board with this dream of your father's right from the very beginning, or did it take a little persuasion to get you involved, David?
Well, yeah, because I have a lot of other things going on, but
yeah, you do.
He wanted to do it, and then once it got up and going, I was happy to be part of it and help him out.
Just so you know, and he knows right from the beginning, we hope and pray that this continues for a very long time.
Well,
there are always growing pains in the beginning, and the first year is kind of tough, but let's hope it can go on for decades, because there is a huge need.
Yes, there is.
All right.
Yep.
What are you sitting on here?
This is an old corn planter. This is actually, it was horse drawn in its time. They adapted a 3-point hitch bar onto it so they could actually pick it up, and they probably use that one time or use it for a small garden. But we're going to try to do a little corn planting today. We have a little strip over there we wanted to work up.
Oh, you do, huh?
Yeah, put a little bit of corn in.
So that's why it's oiled up and painted up and ready to go.
Ready to go. We got
Are
a
you
little
full
bit of
corn?
The corn's up front.
Oh.
You got to pour a little antifreeze, a little bit of fertilizer in these.
Oh, fertilizer, okay.
And yeah, that's actually fertilizer, and that's a corn seed, the small one there.
Some city slickers might hear fertilizer and think you're talking that you're putting manure in there, but it's bagged fertilizer.
It's actually bagged dry fertilizer. Yeah.
Very, very rare that we use that kind of fertilizer for this kind of event anymore.
No.
Although I used to be very happy when I could get a load of you-know-what from my garden.
Yeah, it always worked out good.
Some of my friends would come down and my wife would come out running out. What is that smell? That smell's going to be good stuff in this garden.
Yep, we're going to make some big tomatoes.
Ah, so did you have to do any rehab work on this when you got it, or did it work?
No, my father did a lot of rehab work. This was his project, and my son helped him out a little bit. redoing all these because the fertilizer boxes are the first things to rot out. So he made, this is all new here. But other than that, the planter was very good shape.
I've watched people trying to rebuild old hay loaders, trying to get straight slats that weren't broken, get them working. And you guys have done a few, haven't you? A couple?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Is there still one inside? There was one inside one year when we were here, an old hay loader.
Yeah, we got a hay loader or hay display inside the museum.
Do?
Yeah.
Well, we'll be seeing some of that too.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, David.
Yep, you're welcome.
Well, there's Leeward up on the hill with his great old tractor. He said he's going to try to plow downhill, and so we're going to watch him do it at Babbie's Rural and Farm Learning Museum out here in the River Road in Peru. We're thrilled to be here today on a beautiful, sunshiny last day of April 2011. I love the website for Babbie's. You should check it out. It says, Gateway to the Heritage of Rural and Farm Life in the Champlain Valley. I wonder who wrote this. Sojourn into the past as you view the many displays and demonstrations going on. Check out the events calendar and you can find it. And
Leeward's wrestling here.
Yeah.
The plow is pulling him instead of him pulling
Yeah,
the plow.
and that can happen, right?
Yeah.
He is spinning a little bit.
Well, a Super C, don't let that Super fool you. That's not a very big tractor.
Oh, I know. But
But
he's owned it for a long time, and it'll do some work.
Well, what you got to remember is when those tractors came out, they were replacing a horse or a team of horses.
That's exactly right. Very interesting configuration, which many tractors don't have anymore with those front wheels.
Well, they're definitely a danger. I know the John Deeres were that way.
We've seen him go over a few times. He's plowing with the front wheels too.
Yeah, he's got to keep pulling, trying to pull away from the furrows that are already there.
By the way, if you'd like to bring your school group over here and like to make some plans to tour this museum and this learning farm, call 518-643-8052. Let them know when you're coming and they'll be sure to be here. We're getting the big horses here now, boy.
He's going to do some wheeling. This is pretty land here with the rolling hills.
It is. It's a beautiful spot,
Really
and
nice. I don't know how water-wise how it holds up, but I imagine the drainage is pretty good.
Boy, that tractor's running great, isn't it? Listen to it.
You got that bulldozer there, you don't even need the plows.
I know, isn't that amazing? Oh, hell, he's got the rope going now, boy. Look out.
And those are 2 furrow plows. That means he's plowing up 2 furrows worth. And of course, the old little house in the prairie days, you had a single furrow with your horse or mule pulling it.
Unless you could train your wife to put a harness on or something, you know.
Some people did.
We've seen them do a lot of plowing by hand in the old days.
The guy would pull and the wife would be behind, keeping it straight. Leeward, I don't like the way Leeward's doing this here. We better have him stop after this time down. He's going to tip that tractor over.
Good thing we don't have a cast of thousands here watching this show, huh?
No, he's going to tip that over. We're going to talk him out of doing any more of that.
That tractor's doing a great job, that bulldozer, though. Hard to believe that it's 74 years old. I know that because I saw the date on it. Oh, here he comes downhill.
Yeah, that's not good. I don't need Leeward risking his life to give us a demonstration here.
That's not as risky, is it?
Huh?
Unfortunately, we've both been on farms for a long time and seen too many tractors tipped over.
That's especially on a high wheel tractor.
Oh, you got it.
The worst part is when it flips over backwards.
Oh God, yes. Oh my God.
There's no getting off it.
You know, no. That's it. That's it. Good. Amen.
I was hauling a load of tomatoes from my father on a
Tell me
small
who you
trailer.
are first of all.
Okay, name's Leroy Connors.
Hi, Lee.
And I'm from up here in Peru,
Oh
west
yeah,
end of
yeah,
Peru.
yeah.
And I grew up on a farm over in the Irish Settlement Road.
Oh yeah.
And where I'm at right now used to be my uncle's farm.
Oh, no kidding.
And
Wonderful.
I worked heavy construction up and down the eastern seaboard of the United States. And
Yep.
when I come to time to retire, this is where I want to come back to, because
Isn't that great?
when you
Isn't
look at
that
when you look at the Champlain Valley and the rest of the areas that I've been up and down the East Coast, it compares very favorably. And where else can you be where it's
We like to think we're a cut above. This
Well,
is
let's
a
put it this
great,
way.
a great area to live and work and raise a family.
Yes, it is. And what I find here is, if you're born before, say, 58, before the Air Force moved in here, and you meet someone here that's born before that, chances are, somehow or other, your family connected. And not only that, people here tend to be very friendly because you know each other. And that is hard to find other parts of the country.
It really is. It really, really is. I mean, it sounds a little mundane when Calvin and I talk about it because we both lived around here for a very long time. But it is unique in many respects.
Yes, it is.
Not just on a nice sunny day like today, but almost every day. You'll
Well-
find people who are willing to help you out if you're in trouble,
Oh, yes. It's
willing to volunteer.
and if you have a personal problem, say like you're on a road or something like that, it's not quite so well now, but in the past, all you had to do was knock on a neighbor's door, or if you're in a stranger area, you could, say you're out of town, you could knock on someone's door, and chances are you'd be helped very well.
That's true. Don't
If they
you love-
couldn't help you, they'd find help for you.
I love that dozer, don't you? Isn't that
Yes.
great?
That's a unique piece of equipment. David found that at an auction, and he said he just had to have it.
It's amazing when you stop to think that it's exactly my age. Isn't that?
Well, I don't know the year of it, but
1937.
predates me by 5 years.
That's wonderful. Here comes Leeward. He's making another run at it, Calvin. Yeah, this is great considering how heavy the rain was a couple of days ago, right? We didn't know if this event today would ever be able to get off the ground, but we're
Well,
glad it did.
it's given us a little trouble here. We're having this is heavy soil and it's wet, and we have areas where we had a little difficulty plowing this morning, especially over on the backside
Oh
there.
yeah, I can imagine.
But we're able to do it, and plows don't perform as well as they would in
Oh no.
dry soil, but they are working. And the whole idea is to demonstrate this and show people how it was done back in the 50s.
It's really great, and I hope a lot of people, when they see this a few weeks down the line, will bring their kids out here this summer.
Well, not just a few weeks, a few years down the line, because
Yeah, we
a
hope
lot
for
of
that
this
too.
way of doing things is in the past.
Yeah,
We
well,
don't do things
think about it.
manually anymore.
Think about it. Now we're, as I mentioned at the outset of our program today, farms, and now you have mega farms.
Or
And you
totally
don't-
mechanized.
Or totally mechanized. You don't have 35, 40 head of milking Holsteins anymore these days for the most part.
No, you have 300 or 400.
Yeah.
And they go through a milking parlor, and most of it's done mechanically.
All
Now my
computer operated.
my brother-in-law has a place over in Canada, and he has a farm that they've recently automated and made a milking parlor out of it. And you're amazed at how much work is done by the machinery.
Yeah, isn't it?
Even the cows are backed into the stall
Yeah.
by machinery. The milking machinery, when it's done milking, immediately disconnects. You don't have to do it manually.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to do manually is push the buttons and do the sanitation on the animal itself.
So young people these days have never tried to hoist a milk can.
No, and there was a trick to that, because you used to have a cold water bath tank, and water in the tank was chilled. And to get a 100-pound milk can out of it, you just didn't lift it up. You slosh it up and down a little times and let gravity do the work for you. Then you pop it out.
Third
Same-
time's a charm, boy.
Same thing if you put it up on a stand before the guy that picked it up brought it into the creamery. You swung it up there. You didn't pick it up and put it on there.
You know, we've talked about it often because we had a number of creameries here in the North Country, and we have yet to do a comprehensive program on the history of, Plattsburgh Dairy and Bayview Dairy and Rosebud Creamery
And the co-op, which is
and the
long
co-op.
gone.
Oh yeah, think about it. It's a whole different ballgame to now, but it's good to have a farm like this so that we can revive some of these memories for old guys like you and me, huh?
Well, I like old machinery, so
yeah.
I've joined a club that David belongs to, and Leeward and everybody else. That's how I got to know what's going on here. And I've decided to join this group just to help them out. And since I actually had first-hand experience of what it was like to live on a farm, I find it kind of handy to explain to kids that don't have a concept of what happened.
Not a clue.
Now, last fall, we were doing a harvest thing, and we were threshing oats. And I picked up a handful of oats, and I was peeling bran off the oats. And I was telling the kids, I said, you can eat that germ that's inside that bran. You know, you peel off the bran, you can eat the germ. And they were looking at me like I was from another planet. And I said, no. I said, it's the same thing you have when you have oatmeal. The only thing they do for oatmeal is to squash it.
That's exactly right.
And other than that, it's the same thing. Then I popped one in my mouth, and I peeled another and handed it to the kid, and he says it's kind of tasteless. I said, well, all they did was salt and sugar in it.
Yeah. Isn't that great? Well, he's working really, really good with that dozer today.
Yes, that dozer, the reason why it works so well on wet soil like this is it's got a light footprint.
Yeah.
And that I know from my construction days, because that's why those track vehicles were originally invented for farms, because they do have a light footprint. You can run them on soft soil. And they have a lot more traction than a wheel vehicle.
He was doing pretty good with the disc, though, isn't he, huh?
Yes. That disc, when they're set to cut, they're like a plow in themselves.
Oh, sure.
In fact, some larger spreads will do all their plowing with discs because they can set them to dig as much as 18 inches deep.
Yeah.
It's a matter of how you set the angle on them. You notice right now that those discs are angled.
Yep.
That allows them to cut in.
Sure.
If you straighten those up, they don't. They just ride on top. And that's how we make the plow work. It's because the axles that hold those discs are angled, and they allow the discs to cut in and pull up the soil. Now, after they disc it, if it needs further treatment, they'll use a spring tooth harrow, which is just a bunch of spring teeth that are right on a frame, and they just drag it back and forth, and it smooths it up and dry. One of the main things for harrowing and disking is to chop weeds and dry out the soil, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing it right now, is to dry out the soil a little bit.
I think it's working. I hope it is, anyway.
Well, the name for what we're doing is called fitting the soil.
Sure. What do you think, Calvin? Pretty good, huh?
I think Leeward's in his glory out there.
I think he's having a ball. I saw he had the front wheels of that tractor right off the ground a couple of minutes ago. I didn't hear him holler, whoa, though.
No, you're saying Yahoo.
He was saying Yahoo, huh? This is great, and what a perfect day. Barely a cloud in the sky. One tiny little wisp right above this field. And I just wish there were more people here to see it, but
We got some roadside viewers.
we got a family that stopped a couple of minutes ago, and hopefully thousands of people will get to watch this program on hometowncablenetwork.com and plattsburgh.com on the internet, and will tell their friends about it and spread the word about this wonderful museum called Babbie's Rural and Farm Learning Museum on the River Road in Peru. If you're in the North Country, you're not too far away, and so I would plan a day or a weekend here with all of the family members, not just the little kids, but with mom and dad and grandpa and grandma too, because they'll be able to fill in the blanks and give you some great memories. Open the memory banks and tell you about what it was like 60, 70, 80 years ago here in the North Country.
What David's doing here, of course, is plowing a field that was already used for corn or purposes like that. But if you were plowing a hay field that had been used for hay last year, you'd have a heck of a lot of sod right there. That those wheel harrows would be even more important to break that up and smooth it out and make it so you can get out there and run your drags on it and till it.
Well, it's working real good the way he's doing it right now. Yeah.
Get the little mic on behind you. Can't do that. You're cutting grass. You usually have a coulter attached to your plow. This set of plows can take a coulter. You see those two pipe-like things on the frame? There's a coulter. It looks just like a harrow blade, except it's flat. It doesn't have a curve to it, and that will cut the grass. Now there's another type of coulter that's like a little miniature plowshare that can turn the grass over and allow the plow to cut the soil cleanly. Now this is not equipped with it because it doesn't need it here on this soil. You stuck?
I don't think he's stuck.
Back up in it, not put it in gear, but
Isn't that great? Now we had to use the chain on these spring harrows because there's no 3-point hitch. We got to get them set, get them going, and see how it works with that tractor. So great to see these old tractors that have been rehabilitated, repainted, retuned. They all run so beautifully, and it's nice these guys to do a little continuous demonstration for us today, so our viewers can just see how it works. Oh, we got to get her shifted.
Grind me a pound of that coffee.
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. As long as we get it in a forward gear, we're going to be all right, I think. All right, here we go.
I got a feeling that whoa! I was just going to say you could pull some bigger ones there, but he's going through some sticky stuff, I think. He'll do better coming downhill.
Oh, you better believe it.
by far.
There's a lot more resistance than people might realize, but look behind it and see the nice job that it does to fit that soil after you've been over it with the disc arrows.
I think I hear another one behind us. Leeward coming through.
I think he's coming. Yeah, he's coming.
A little seeding.
Yeah, we did that. We saw that planter up on the hill and talked about it, and now you're going to see it in action.
You may want a seed coming downhill.
How many wheels do you see on the front of that tractor?
He's got two. He's got two on there.
Skinny ones on each side, huh?
Yeah. There we go. Here comes Dave.
Oh, much better downhill. Much, much better. Isn't it? Dave is a whiz at tuning up these old tractors and rebuilding them. He's been doing it for a long, long time, and he's learned very well from his dad.
Gotta get off the road here, Leeward. People coming over the hill.
Oh, yeah. I forgot how many tractors he has. He told us one time. Got another one down below.
He's probably added a few since then.
I'm sure he has. He's got the roller coming too. That'll be last. Yeah. They try to do it all at one time just to please us because we're here today only. What a perfect day this is. We're doing this at Babbie's in Peru on the River Road on the last day of April 2011. Thank goodness it dawned beautifully sunny today. We had a wisp of a cloud when we came here, and now even that is gone. So the sky is perfect all the way around. Here comes the roller. Great day to be out and about. If you're watching this and you're inside, this is a perfect reason why you should get out every now and again and see what makes this North Country tick. a good place to see what's made it tick over the last 150 years is right here at Babbie's wonderful learning museum and farm here on the River Road in Peru. So they'll show you the way it was and the way it is. Not too much truly modern equipment here though, but a ton of memories, that's for sure. You're seeing it all here today, folks.
As off camera here, Wayne Lapeer pointed out, this was not done in the same day.
Oh no!
Normally, it was done. You do
you had the camera shut off.
One thing one day.
Oh, exactly.
But this is made for TV today. So.
Demonstration purposes only.
Right.
Everything's working beautifully though, and that's nice to see.
And as often as not, it'd be the same guy doing all of the jobs.
Yeah, that's it.
One day at a time.
Unless you can get your kid to do it tomorrow, huh?
Right.
It's really too bad that we didn't have a bigger crowd here today, but we're delighted you're getting a chance to see it on TV. It's easy to find. Just look for Babbie's website. Telephone number is there. Directions are there. If you live in the Peru area, just head out the River Road. It's only a couple of miles down the road on the right-hand side as you're heading in this direction. There's that wonderful little small orchard tractor, as he called it, with a roller. You can understand why that's necessary after you put the seed down.
Well, as everyone can see, Gordy, it took more than one pass over the land to get your crop in, to get it planted.
Oh my goodness, people have no idea. A lot of tedious hours and days, and begging the weatherman to cooperate. You don't get a lot of days like this in a row. Some years you get them in early, and some years you just get them in late, and this would be very, very late, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's what Leeward said. I don't know, you get your crop up too soon and you get a frost, and
we better not have any. They predicted the 30s for last night, which would have been the 29th day of April, but it didn't get below 41 degrees at my house, so we're all set in that respect. But you never know, do you, huh?
well, or if you get the corn up, then you get a lot of corn's been rained out,
Oh,
just
sure.
drowned because it got so wet.
Well, there aren't too many fields in better shape than this one is right here because of the natural drainage. The people who are in flat fields are really have a huge problem right now just to get in them at all. You can almost see the soil dry out as it gets fitted. Once you turn it over and you fit it, run the disc harrows over it.
You'll see how smooth it is after the
Oh yeah.
the roller goes by.
Yep.
And sometimes they put extra weight on top of those rollers. As often as not, we had huge rocks on top of there.
Oh, I remember that too. Well, I saw a survey online the other day. You know you're old as dirt when you've done so and so and so and so, and one of them was picking rocks out of a field, and you and I have both done that quite a bit in our lifetime.
Well, I don't know. I was just talking to Kent Lapeer, and he said he picked some stones with my son Caleb last year at Drew's.
Oh, really?
So it's still being done.
Oh boy, of course you got to get the stones out of the field. And for those people who take time to look around as they're driving on the highways and byways of Clinton County, you'll see a lot of stone walls. And guess what, folks? They didn't just appear there overnight. Many of them took generations and generations, and
They get planted one stone at a time.
one stone at a time, and they became the many times they became the farmer's junkyard. You know, all the old equipment and metal pieces and things on top of the stone wall. Yeah, there are a lot of great treasures in the woods here in the North Country, and many people are not aware that we have dozens of communities we call ghost towns here in northern New York that aren't communities anymore because of the way things are going. All right, we're inside.
Right.
Leeward, what do we got in this little corner?
Well, every month we would want to set up a different display in the conference room, and of course, April being maple sap, or maple sugaring time, so we went out and picked up, one tree, and I had a lot of family stuff I wanted to display, so I thought I'd set up a little display here. Some of it is, the pan and the door that you see there is all family.
Is it really?
Yeah, and the yolks and the bit,
That's a hand bit.
hand bit, yeah. We use that, well, my grandfather used it, and it was been in the family for a long time, so it's,
Imagine how long that would take to do 3,000 trees.
no.
Two or
I
three or four
never-
tops in a tree.
I'm sure they wouldn't do it if they had to do it that way.
But it's nice to see the buckets on the trees with the cover
Yeah.
so they don't get moisture and bugs and everything else in them.
Right.
It's also great to see the old buckets down there on the floor, the evaporator pan,
Yeah.
the stove. I've shoved a lot of wood into those evaporators, haven't you? In the
Oh,
olden days?
yeah.
There's a wonderful photograph right over this
there,
way.
that is where this stuff came from. That's the old sugar house
That's your old
in Champlain.
BB Sugar House in Champlain.
Yeah, was in the family for years, yeah.
And that picture would have been taken about 1906,
No, I think it was around 1920
was it?
by the people that's in it.
Aha!
Aha, that's one way of telling.
Isn't it
if you
great
know
to-
your
yes.
relatives.
But isn't it great to have this stuff so you can put it on display?
Yeah, well,
You know,
apparently I saved everything.
yeah, join the club. They call it pack rat in case you didn't know. So what else? You're trying to set up I see you have a little schoolhouse over
Yeah,
here.
we have.
Come on, we can walk this way a little bit, Leeward.
Little displays here and there.
This is really, really great.
Last year it was quite a hit when we had the school kids in.
They
you know.
love it. Seeing
And
the old books.
they'd love that, seeing the old desk, and we actually had a teacher at the blackboard, and the kids enjoyed that, and we tried to keep whatever seemed to fit the place here, little bit of classroom. I would prefer to have the whole schoolhouse, one-room schoolhouse,
Well, yeah,
but that
maybe you could get
down
one.
the road.
Every now and again, you'll see one of them comes up.
Yeah.
And those little chairs, boy, do they look familiar.
Yeah.
I think all of us maybe in this room sat in one of those little chairs. I got a couple out in my garage that my kids grew up with.
Yeah.
Wanted to.
I sat in them for quite a few years.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Now you've also I see you got a little summer kitchen set up over
yeah,
here.
I thought had a kerosene stove. I worked on that longer than I should have, but the wicks were all frozen into the unit, that was very difficult to remove those.
So you got them all out of there and got new
Yeah,
ones put in?
and we were able to order new ones, and it actually works. Of course, my goal is to
Make things work.
make things
You love
work.
to make things work, and it's fascinating to do that. I love it over here where you got your little checkerboard. Every little
Yeah.
town had a little country store
That's it.
with
Now
a
they
pickle barrel and a little
nice
checkerboard.
potbelly stove.
Yeah.
I try to put things together that I remember.
Our viewers have seen some of these things, but you change things a little bit each time we come over here, and that's
we try
good. You
to.
got a lot of equipment up above there.
That stayed pretty much.
Pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same as last year, but we changed it downstairs. If you remember, that back wall was full of tools and
I remember very well.
yeah. So
We got some old washing machines here, including a little animal power here.
Yeah. That was a nice donation right there.
I'll bet you there aren't very many of these machines like that left anywhere.
No, most likely they were turned by hand, but we just hooked it up to the
I like that idea.
treadmill and
You got an old power washer in the back. Is that a gas engine? On that
Gas
one? That's the
engine.
old Maytag?
yes, and I was brought up with one of those. That's why I wanted one real bad.
I got the motor from my bicycle at some point in time and made a motorbike before anybody else in town had one.
Yeah, with one of those engines you're saying.
Oh, sure, the old Maytag engines. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Once you got them going, they would go good. So that's a nice little area. And then you had the kitchen here before, and
we
this.
still have the kitchen part, and people seem to enjoy it, so we'll leave it intact.
Well, you know, it's very nice because when we were standing here, a gentleman came in and wanted to make a donation of an old
Right.
antique radio that
Yeah.
operates off a 6-volt battery.
That's what's nice about this. You know, if you don't have something, it'll just show up someday. You know,
I was looking
and-
over there and we were talking about the kerosene stove, and I remembered having one of those copper canning kettles in my garage, and I told you I'd be delighted to bring it here to you, and I promise I will do that for you.
And believe me, we appreciate that. The donations, we've had wonderful donations, you know, and we appreciate that. It shows the interest that's out there, you know. If people donate to the museum, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, once again, we'll remind our folks that we're talking with Leeward Babbie here. We've talked with other family members throughout the course of today. We watched you going up and down the hill on your tractor, hoping that Leeward doesn't tip that thing over.
No, I used to just about live on that tractor. I know
That tractor
the
goes way back to when it was brand new for you, doesn't it?
Right. It's been in the family since '54.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You and I were only 17.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, when you and I
So-
were young, Maggie.
That one's kind of special to me.
Yeah, I bet you it is.
Yeah.
No wonder you wrestle it real good when you're going up and down there. That was very nice of you to put that all together for us today. I know you
Well-
didn't plan to do all that because of the lousy weather, but it worked out well, and
Yeah.
it'll be a very, very good visual for our viewers.
Well, the field was a little damp, but we keep working at it. So, yeah, we were able to use most of the equipment that we wanted to use today. So it's good. Yeah, very good.
You know, Leeward Babbie, we couldn't have ordered a better day than we had today for this little tour.
Absolutely.
So I think you still got a connection up there somewhere.
Yeah, well, the weekend, we were praying for a good weekend weather-wise, and that happened, but we did get that big rain before, so it made it a little more difficult. But
A lot of wonderful old equipment and sleighs and things. As Calvin looks around the room, you and I are going to just remind people to stop out here sometime at Babbie's Rural and Farm Learning Museum on the River Road in Peru. What's the number of the road?
250.
250 River Road in Peru.
Yes.
They can find you on the internet. You've even got a Facebook site.
Yeah.
I'm sure you go on Facebook every day yourself, right?
I'm sure I do.
But the website is very good, and it'll talk about special events. It'll talk about rotating displays. It's very nice when you can move things around
Yeah.
in season, a new display. People can stop by during the week. You're open Wednesday,
No, Thursday through Sunday.
Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah, 4 days.
I was thinking, why was I thinking Wednesday? What do I know? Thursday through Sunday.
Anyway,
And are you trying to be here every single day yourself?
I'm here whether we're open or not every single
I
day.
should have known that. Tinkering with something, right?
Yeah.
You think you'll buy more tractors?
I've slowed down on that.
How many do you own? Have you counted them lately?
Yeah, I have 15 antiques.
Do you really?
Yeah, but of course I have other tractors that I still use, for custom work and that. But 15 antiques.
Well, thank goodness for all the help you have here. Thank goodness you're one of those guys that stuck to that dream. And here we are 1 year later at Babbie's, and I love it. I want to thank you for letting us come back from time to time.
Well, you're sure welcome, and I appreciate you guys coming in and putting on this video. And without people's help here, it can become difficult. But people like you and Calvin are very helpful.
We're delighted.
Right from the beginning,
We're
in fact.
delighted to be here right from the beginning and watch this field grow right here.
Yeah.
The field of dreams, huh?
For sure.
I want to thank our viewers for watching our program, for all your comments and suggestions. Make sure that if you have a couple of bucks to spare and the checkbook is just jumping up and down on the table, that you get a pen hooked up to it and write a nice number on there and send it to Calvin, Hometown Cable on the Ridge Road in Champlain. And who knows where we're going to be next time.